What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here. Welcome to the channel where you subscribe to get daily updates on Bitcoin. We're going to be taking a look at the charts. Are you ready for a big move? We're going to take a look at some key areas to watch, and then we're going to take a look at some targets. We're going to start with the bigger time frames, move on down to the smaller. Definitely stick around, and don't forget, there's a link to a free Discord group in the description below. It's an awesome community, guys. Check it out if you want somewhere to hang out. Learn about trading crypto, just learn about crypto in general. It's a great community. Let's get into it. All right, guys, as always, this is not financial advice, trading advice, nor is it investment advice. Always do your own due diligence and your own research before investing or trading in any markets. I want to remind you guys, we're doing a Kobo Vault Generation 2 hard wallet giveaway. Definitely check it out. I also suggest checking out Ellipale and Ledger. I have links down below in my affiliate links, but check them out. I do prefer the Kobo and Ellipale because you sign with QR codes, so you never have to plug it into your computer and make it vulnerable. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. All you got to do to enter to win is make sure you smash that like button. And I can't stress enough to smash that like button for all Bitcoin YouTubers that you watch, whoever it may be. It really helps the YouTube algorithm since YouTube does not really care for Bitcoin videos for some reason at this point. So make sure you smash the like. Leave your comment down below. That'll get you entered to win. We'll be picking a random comment from a random video throughout the week. We'll be doing that on Sunday, so make sure you don't miss that. And let's get into it. All right, looking at the Bitcoin news, just to get a feel for the sentiment. It's now cheaper to buy one Bitcoin than to buy a single DeFi token, YFI. Be careful with that, guys. There's only 30,000 of them, and a couple wallets hold a majority of them. When they decide to dump, you will get screwed. Be careful. Bitcoin market is looking like early 2016, just before the Bitcoin price exploded. Report finds 50 million of cryptocurrency moved out of China, hinting a capital flight against Beijing rules. In a world where central banks issue digital currencies, Bitcoin and Libra may find a place. Warning issued after 78 Waterloo region residents duped by Bitcoin scams in 2020. Be careful with the scams, guys, especially the scam videos that play before all the Bitcoin videos. Be aware of that. That's all scams. I don't know why YouTube even lets that happen. Also, you'll see in the comments down below a bunch of comments pop up. I try to keep them off there the best I can. When I see them, I delete them, about WhatsApp app people and Telegram groups and hacker this, hacker that. Guys, that's all scams. Don't pay attention to it. Don't get sucked in. Just a warning to you guys. And also, there's also impersonators out there that will impersonate me and other YouTubers. I will never ask you for money. I will never ask you to invest in anything. So if you get that stuff, my real email is below. Definitely email me and let me know if you see any of that crap. Chainalysis. New issuance of Tether slows down Bitcoin price growth. Extreme Bitcoin growth in Africa is sending crypto mainstream. Binance Bakkt exchange CEO reveals. So obviously news is still a little bullish. As you guys know, I do not think this is the bull run. Although it could be, we're going to take a look at both scenarios. Let's look at the fear and greed index. We're at 81. We raised 6 points from yesterday back into the extreme greed zone. Usually when that happens, we can count on some more downside. But let's take a look at it. So on the monthly, keep an eye on this yellow dotted line here. It's drawn off of this wick here, and this wick here that we broke. We are above that now. If we close the monthly below this 11,200, it's going to be pretty bearish in my opinion. We could be coming back down to test this trend line around the 91, 9,200 and possibly lower. Like I said, we'll take a look at it. But as you notice, there is higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the RSI. That is bearish divergence, and it is in the monthly, so it can take time to play out. Doesn't mean that we drop down in 1 second. Time is the hardest thing to judge in markets. So let's move on. Another thing I want to point out real quick, guys, as of right now, all we're getting in the macro is lower lows or lower highs. There is no big bullish breakout yet, so don't get too excited. I know a lot of people are pushing for the crazy bullish scenario. They've been doing that for some time, but be cautious, guys. I'm not saying it can't happen. There is big targets up here. This one, looking at the solid white trend lines, if we do a measured move of where we broke that trend line, the bullish case scenario in that is about 27,500, right in that range. That is the bullish case. There is also one more bullish target here, and that's looking at this as a falling broadening wedge in yellow. And we do a measured move of the breakout of that over here would be around $15,000, $16,000 range. But let's zoom in here. There's that yellow dotted trend line, and it's right at around 11,250 in the weekly. If we close above this, we could still be looking at the bullish case scenario. Close below this, and I think it gets really bad really fast. 8 EMA as of right now on the weekly is about 10,750. 13 EMA is around 10,300. 21 EMA is around 9,800. And if we was to come back down and retest this white trend line, would be around the $9,200 range, a break of that. Then we would be looking for this yellow trend line somewhere in the $75,000 to $7,000 range. And then, of course, down here we have our 200 EMA, and that lies around 6,100. And we could always come all the way back down to test this trend line. Remember, guys, there is a gap at 9,700. There's another gap at 7,600 and a gap all the way down at the 3,570. Not saying we have to hit it, but you need to be aware that those are down there, especially with all the bullish, crazy sentiment going on. They make you think that can't happen. It's definitely still possible, so be aware of that. I'm not saying it has to, but you need to be aware of that stuff. I'm trying to keep you guys aware of what's going on instead of just constantly pushing Bitcoin to the moon, Bitcoin to the moon. I also have a chart that shows we may not break the all-time high till like 2024. Not saying that that's a guarantee, but it's definitely a possibility, and people need to look at what's really going on. There is going to be some great trading opportunities coming up, and we're going to take a look at them. I want you guys to know Prime XBT is my preferred exchange, 100%. I don't put down every damn exchange down below and try to get you to use it so I get commission. Although the other exchanges pay the people that promote them a lot more, I choose Prime XBT because it is the fairest exchange in my opinion. 100% fairest exchange. They do not trade against you. They're not throwing scam wicks all over to liquidate you and get your stop losses. And just check it out if you haven't already. It's definitely the best exchange in my opinion. If you don't have multiple screens, you can set up multiple charts on one screen, which is an awesome feature. You can trade Bitcoin, EOS, Ethereum, Litecoin, XRP, Forex, gold, silver, oil, S&P, all on one exchange. So you don't need to keep switching exchanges to do different stuff. Definitely check it out. Use my promo code SAVVY50. Even if you already have a Prime account, you can use my promo code SAVVY50 to get you 50% on top of whatever you deposit. And that works every time you deposit. So not just once, but every time you deposit by using SAVVY50 will get you 50% on top of your deposit as a bonus up to 1 Bitcoin. Savvy 25 gets you 25% off of all your trading fees. Yeah, check it out. I definitely recommend it, and let's get into it. Oh yeah, I will leave a Prime XBT tutorial up top also, so you can check it out. All right, let's look at the daily. One more thing, we're gonna go back to the weekly. I forgot to mention this. On the weekly, we've been watching the RSI here. It does look like, if you look at the trend lines I have drawn in here, this is sort of a wedge in here. It does look like we could have that one more pop up. It's not necessary, but be aware we could have a pump up to around the 13,000 range. And what I was talking about here, if we close the weekly above this trend line, then that will get me bullish. Otherwise, I remain bearish under this trend line. And let's go back over to the daily here. Let's just take a look at this as a rising wedge, the white line being the resistance, yellow line being the support. If we were to break this 10.5 range, we could look at this as the measured move, could actually go all the way down to around the $3,500 range to close that gap. So be aware of that. Again, it doesn't have to happen, but we need to be aware of what's going on. Let's zoom in a little bit, look at the EMAs here on the daily. We'll take a look at the bullish case too. We are dropping. Right now we are below the 13 EMA on the daily. The 21 EMA lies around 11,500, a break of that. And then we go down to the 55 EMA, which is around 10,700. And of course, a break of the 10,500, which should at least get a bounce there. But if it does not hold, 200 EMAs around 9,400. And then we also have this trend line down here, which we'll take a look at in a second. Coming back down to test this trend line could be around the 8,200 range, somewhere in that area. The bullish case, looking at this as a head or an inverse head and shoulders. Let me draw it in there for you. That would be left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and looking at the neckline here. Let me get that out of there. The break of the neckline, if indeed that's what that is, would get us around the $17,100 range, somewhere in that area. That is the bullish case. Again, I'm bearish unless that weekly close on the RSI above. And one more thing, another way to support my channel is my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. There is a link to that below also, along with the other affiliate links that you should probably check out. She has a lot of cool crypto stuff on here. You can put anything you want on any of this stuff, any crypto, any saying, any meme, anything. Just hit her up in the contact and she will hook you up. All right, taking a look, another look at the daily here. Again, that yellow dotted trend line right now lies around the 11,200. Let's see what happens today, but keep in mind this rising broadening wedge here does look like we could come up and retest this bottom, which was old support, become new resistance. 13,000. A break above this pink trend line here would be bullish in my opinion. And of course we have our inverse head and shoulders target up there. But I do believe if we even get up here, I think we're going to get rejected there, guys, and come back down. Also, I have these two trend lines here. You see the X coming back down to test this trend line that was off of all these wicks. Could be around the 9,600. But again, we have to watch that 10.5 area. A break of that 10.5 could get ugly. A break of this trend line up here again around that 11,200. If we break that, we're most definitely coming down to at least the 10.5 range. And if that breaks 96, if this trend line doesn't hold, then we can look at this trend line, old resistance. Would that become new support? Depending on where we hit it. If we hit it, fairly quick, could be around the 8,200. And, if it took a couple weeks or whatever, it could go 75. But we'll keep an eye on it. Let's look at the RSI here. RSI does seem to be in a rising wedge here. Now, if we break this trend line right here on the daily, it's going to get extremely ugly, guys. That could be a major capitulation. One other thing, if we do get that next move up, it could be, we could get another bounce up here first, get resistance here, and then come down. And that could be a higher high, so keep that in mind. But as of right now, it's looking like we may break through this support line here and continue down. Let's look at the 4 hour. I have a pretty interesting thing on the 1 hour too that we're going to look at here in a minute. But I want to look at this. We already looked at this, the bottom of this rising broadening wedge being this resistance line up here. If we drew another line off of these wicks here, it does look like we could be coming down. And that would meet around that 10.5 range if we don't go up and hit the 13. If we go up and hit that 13,000, then we'll probably have longer to go to get down there. But if we did top here, I want to point something out. If we did top right here, then these are the Fibonacci retracements we can look for. The first one being the 0.236, which is around 10,400, 10,500, which lines up nicely with that neckline. A break of that will get us down to the 9200, which is the 0.386 fib or 0.382. And then we have the 0.5 at 8177. And then, of course, the golden pocket zone is between 6900 and 7200 area. If we break through that, guys, the next step, we do have a measured move at 6000. I'll show you that in a minute. But the 0.786 is around the 5600 range. And then, of course, if that breaks, then we'd be going down to close that 3570 gap. Let's take a look at these measured moves here. So looking at this as a rising broadening wedge in the pink there, if we took a measured move of that, we would measure the widest point of the wedge, bring it, if we broke down somewhere in that 10.5 range, you know, it could be later, we could take a while to break down. That could be next week if we get down to this level. But a break of this trend line here could get us down to around that $6,000 range. If we were to have a fast capitulation, which within this weekend, if we break that, we could be looking all the way down to that $5,600 range, guys. I know a lot of people don't think that's possible. Just be aware of it. This is Bitcoin, guys. I am showing you what I'm seeing in the charts so you can make up your own mind. But as of right now, making this video, we are dropping, heading towards this trend line. You can see the white dotted trend lines here. If we were to break this trend line today, the target is around 10,200, which would be breaking that 10,500. But watch for a bounce at the 10.5. If this tries to break here again, continues up. I know a lot of people were saying we're beating on a resistance line here, and that would beat on enough we should break through. Guys, we're beating on a support line way harder than we are that resistance line, so be aware of that. If we do get a bounce off of this bottom here, and right now that lies around 11,650. If we break below that, guys, we could be going at least down to the 200 EMA, which is 11,200. If that breaks, then look for the 11.5 and then the 11.2. If we get a bounce here, continue back up, retest, and are able to break this trend line here, which depending on where we hit it would be around 12.7. We could be looking, and then we would have to break this trend line here, and that would be the bullish case. If we break that 13, we'd be headed up towards the 14,000 area, probably come back down, retest the pink trend line, and continue up. That would be the bullish case. Let's look at the RSI. On the RSI on the 4-hour, we've been watching this yellow trend line here forever. A break of that, guys, is going to be ugly. Keep an eye on that on the 4-hour. There's also a falling channel here in white. Most likely we would come down, test this channel. If we break here, and if we break this white one, it's ugly, guys. That's all I got to say. It's ugly. All right, the 1 hour. This is pretty interesting. So as of right now, I have this trend line at 11.7. Let me get this orange line out of the way. We talked about this yesterday. I had this triangle drawn in here, and we did wick past it. And I said that's most likely saying we're going to continue down. And it actually looks like it's going to break down right now as I'm making this video. If that's the case, the first measured move is 10.6, 10.5, obviously, right in that area. But we were also looking at this as a possible falling broadening wedge. And if we look at where we broke out, a measured move where we broke out of that wedge would get us up to about the 13,000. Another thing pointing to 13,000. But obviously we're going to have resistance right here around the 12,000 if we do continue up there. But it's not looking good, guys. A break below this 10.7, we're most likely headed down. Let me take this orange trend line, and that's off of that wick that I showed you that pierced through. And then I drew another orange trend line right off the top of these wicks. And a measured move of the breakdown from that gets us to that 10.1, 10.2 that we were talking about. Now let's zoom out a little bit. I want to show you something else interesting. As you can see, these trend lines looking like a rising broadening wedge here. A break below this 96, 9,700, which we have a gap down here. A break of that. And it, like, again, guys, it doesn't mean it happens in a day. Could get us all the way down to that $6,200 range. Definitely keep that in mind. But right now, as of making this video, it does seem like that bottom trend line. Let me get this out of the way. is holding at support right now at 11.7. A break of that 11.7, and then it gets really ugly, guys. The RSI still has room to fall here to get us down. Most likely, if we break this 11.7, that's a good spot to short and then put your stop loss just above it if we break here. And you're most likely going to come down, probably come back up, retest this trend line before continuing down. So be aware of that, guys. But it is looking pretty damn bearish here, unless this bounce holds and we come up and retest that $12,000 area. But this would be a good short area. If we break the $12,000 area, that'd be a good long area. Put your stops just below the trend line, and you could possibly long that up to at least the 12.6, maybe even 13. But guys, like I said, looks like this is going to be way better opportunity for a short. And let's look at that wedge. If we did break up there, the big wedge that I showed you here. Let me get this one here. The measured move, if we broke up from that, could be around the $15,000 to $16,000 range. So keep that in mind, guys. If we do hit that 13, we could come down, get support on this orange trend line, and continue up. But again, guys, I am seeing nothing but short opportunities here, in my opinion, if this 11.7 breaks. So keep a close eye on that. I'd like to see at least a 4-hour close below that. And that's about it, guys. That's where we're at. That's what I'm seeing. Thanks for stopping by. Please don't forget to smash that like button. Leave your comment down below to get you entered to win the Kobo Vault Generation 2 hard wallet. And click the CryptoSavy logo by my head. That will get you subscribed. All you have to do is tick the notification bell after that to get you notified when I post new videos. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm out.